We have the most socially progressive accomplishments of any state in the nation, and it's not even close. First big state to pass marriage equality. First state to pass $15, the highest minimum wage. The most aggressive building agenda in the state. A national champion for organized labor, which is under attack by this administration and has a friend in the state of New York. The nation-leading environmental agenda, the first free college tuition program, that's New York, the best paid family leave program in the nation, and a leader on gun safety. That's the state of New York, and that's what you've done.
Good evening and welcome to Metro Focus. I'm Rafael P. Roman. Before Governor Cuomo delivered his State of the State address, the last remnants of the old Tappan Zee Bridge went out with a boom today, a once-in-a-lifetime event that deviated from its original plan due to weather and instability, something which made continuing to dismantle the structure piecemeal unsafe. This morning, the button was pushed, explosives were activated, and the old bridge's east anchor span met its final fate, collapsing into a set of nets that were held up by buoys. And now, along with other iconic New York structures, such as the old Ebbets Field, the original Madison Square Garden, and the Hippodrome, the Tappan Zee is just part of city folklore. Prior to today's detonation, the U.S. Coast Guard established a 2,500-foot safety radius around the site, and there were no residential homes within that safety zone. It was still a sight to behold, however. The Tappan Zee Bridge, which had been handling 140,000 vehicles a day, far more than it was designed to accommodate, was up for 64 years, even though it was actually designed to last only 50 years because of material shortages during the Korean War, the time of its construction. In 2013, the Federal Highway Administration classified the Tappan Zee as functionally obsolete. And after years of public debate and discussion, construction started on the state-of-the-art $4 billion Governor Mario Cuomo Bridge. Yes, today was indeed a day to remember, but there's another reason why today is particularly memorable. And that's because it was exactly 10 years ago that the miracle on the Hudson occurred. That, of course, refers to the landing of U.S. Airways Flight 1549 by pilot Chelsea Sully Sullenberger on the Hudson after a bird strike caused the airplane catastrophic engine failure. The Smithsonian Channel revisits that event in a new documentary titled Bird vs. Plane: Miracle on the Hudson. Here's a preview.
In 2009, a miracle on New York's Hudson River seizes the world's attention. Behind the scenes, an extraordinary team pieces together what happened.
How could birds bring down a huge jet like this?
This is the inside story of the quest to solve the miracle on the Hudson.
Well, I happened to look up, and it was like, there was the feather.
Now, as our skies get busier, an army of experts are racing to solve the bird strike problem.
We are going to learn how to unzip birds
before disaster strikes.
We really have to plan for the worst case scenario because we may not be so lucky the next time.
And joining us now is Denise Locke, who was a passenger on that fateful flight, and Ash Potterton, executive producer of Bird vs. Plane: Miracle on the Hudson. Thank you both for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you here. Denise, let me begin with you. When did you sense, you were on that plane, it's the regular day, regular flight, when did you sense that something was amiss?
Well, we were on takeoff, and usually leaving LaGuardia, I did it every week for many, many years. After the shudder and the unusual sound and the smell that infiltrated the aircraft.
There was a smell. Wow.
A horrible smell.
Huh.
I didn't know what it was at the time. I knew that something was not quite right. And I thought, well, okay, something's wrong with the engine. We'll turn around and go back. We have two engines, we'll be okay. But then I started to hear dead silence. We had no engine, so I knew it was dire. I knew that there was something that wasn't quite right, although I had no idea what it was.
Yeah, so Captain Sullenberger announced to get ready for crash landing or something like that?
He only came on once. He said, "This is your captain, brace for impact."
Oh, wow.
So at that time, we didn't have any idea that it was a bird strike. I had thought it was something else. As a lot of other passengers did, I thought it was a possible terror attack.
Really?
After.
So what was it like in the cabin? I mean, were people calm and collected, or were people kind of freaking out?
There was a combination of both. There was people that were screaming. There was people that were crying. People were trying to reach their loved ones. I was in the front of the plane, and my seatmate, Mark Hood, really took care of me. And I was very observant. I watched all the passengers around me just to see what they were doing.
When did you know that you were safe?
Once we landed, I thought we went in nose first, which is absolutely impossible, but the way we hit, the impact and the water coming up, and I sat in my seat after the plane came to rest. I immediately thought the plane was going to break up or we were going to have an explosion with all the jet fuel. And then there was also, of course, a survival factor in getting into the coldest day of the year as far as hypothermia. So no, I wasn't 100% certain I was going to be able to survive.
So Ash, let me turn to you. It never dawned on me until the Miracle on the Hudson that a bird or a flock of birds could take down a big commercial jet airplane. What makes these planes so vulnerable to such a thing?
Well, the simple fact is that aircraft engines just aren't designed to withstand impact from a hit of multiple 7 to 10 pound birds. And the other factor to bear in mind is that in the early days of the jet age, jet aircraft tended to have 4 engines, and now I think it's 95 or 96% of them only have 2. Well, as one of our interviewees says in the film, you take one engine out, then it makes it a bit more difficult for the pilot. You take 2 engines out, and an aircraft basically becomes a glider.
An important part of the documentary focuses on the efforts to discover what kind of bird it was that crashed into the 1549. Why was that so critical?
It was important to establish whether the engines on that aircraft should have been able to withstand the impact from the size of bird that it was. Now, in the first instance, the investigative team at the Smithsonian Institution Feather Lab had to determine what species of bird it was. Captain Sullenberger reported hitting geese, but they couldn't necessarily take his word for that, so they had to prove that. But even within geese, there were 2 types of geese. You had the Brant, which was quite small, perhaps only 3 pounds, and you had the much larger Canada goose, which was anything between 7 to 10 pounds. And so it was really important to establish which of those 2 different size of birds it was.
Should our viewers who are going to be flying planes feel relatively secure that they are not going to be on another Miracle on the Hudson or worse?
I mean, what we discovered and what the film shows is that actually, the number of bird strikes is on the rise. There are on average every day 40 civilian aircraft that are involved in bird strikes in America alone. And not only that, there are more and more birds that are kind of habiting around urban areas and that potentially pose a threat to aviation. But of course, it's really important to say that the vast majority of bird strikes don't necessarily result in an aircraft crashing.
Yeah. Well, Denise, somebody's watching and experiences something like what you did. What would be your advice?
I think the key in all aviation is safety, and it's very, very important that you pay attention to your crew and to the safety instructions. You have to know how to exit an aircraft within 90 seconds.
Well, Denise, I'm so glad that you survived and that you're here.
Me too.
Ash, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a wonderful documentary. Okay. Bird vs. Plane, Miracle on the Hudson premieres tonight at 9 p.m. on the Smithsonian Channel.